It started with a story, or rather the idea for a story that just came into my head as I was coming down with this new condition called, I don't know, retirement or post-scholarship or something of that, okay? Thinking differently. I was finishing up a book. I must have been thinking ahead, and I kind of recall thinking about, well, what if science had come before religion? Sort of an odd thing to say, but just the impact of the order in which the information has come to us and maybe even come into Western culture is a very, very vague thing. And then, sort of like a history of ideas project, and I'm going to do a history of ideas project at my age now. But then I realized I was interested in the pattern, some kind of pattern. And then a story came to me, okay? A story just came to me. It came in about 2 or 3 chunks over a period of 2 or 3 weeks. And this story just seized my imagination. I mean, this story really moved me. I'm telling it to my wife, I'm getting to the end, I'm crying, I have no idea what's going on, okay? But I had the feeling, I've got to do this, I have to write this story. Okay? So I did. And it turned out to be an extended parable. It was published by Episcopalians, thank you very much. And there's a little book called The Story of Everything. It took me about 5 years to write. It was in between a lot of other things. I had a lot of science to learn. I had to figure out the genre. But when I was done, I knew I was done. I kind of recognized the story. This was the story that had come to me. But I didn't know what the story was about, nor did I know who the story was for. It's a very strange way to start a project, believe me, and not the way I used to start them, where maybe you get a grant or you get a contract and you got to do it that way. So I do now know what the story is about. 30 years ago, the priest and self-described earth scholar Thomas Berry, does that ring a bell? Mm-hmm. Thomas Berry said, and this is Thomas Berry now, "We are in trouble just now because we are in between stories. The old story, the account of how the world came to be and how we fit into it, sustained us for a long time. It shaped our emotional attitudes, provided us with life purpose, energized action, consecrated suffering, integrated knowledge, and guided education. We awoke in the morning and knew where we were. We could answer the questions of our children. But no longer," said Berry, and he saw a new story in the distance coming our way. The parable I had written was about that in-between, okay? About the journey from the old story of everything to the new story of everything. The journey that a person makes, the journey that a story makes. I mean, actually the story gets personified and has to go through a journey of its own in order to change and in order to live on. And it was also about the journey that I was making.